Hey lovely sexy people, we're going to build Vashtorr. Now, he, it, they, them, not too sure, is a big old beastie. First thing I'm going to do, because I like to do this with a lot of minis that have a glue on base, is, surprise surprise, glue the base together. So you get a nice kind of rocky outcrop here to base Vashtorr on. So that is literally just going to get kind of centralised, I suppose. Let's just bring that in. And there are some like tentacle things coming out of the base in this area here that we're going to stick in, and we have, perhaps orientate it properly, so one piece is going in there. Like thus. We have another piece is going to go in kind of just beside it. So that is going in beside it there. We're going to need to like this, and then actually I may have got that round the wrong way. Let's just move these about. So this smaller piece appears to go in go in there. So that goes in there like that, and then this bigger piece goes in there like so, and that's kind of how the base is going to look. So I can set that to the side to go off a bit. Now, Vashtorr is, there's an awful lot of sub-assemblies. I'm going to start off with the main torso. So, and this is saying that this goes together like so to begin with. I do apologise if you can hear shouting outside. It's because I have workmen digging up the pavement. So this is the initial thing. I'm not going to stick on, there's a load of extra smokestacks that go on here and bits and pieces. I'm going to stick those on just yet. But we then have a groin area that goes on. Like so, and then his torso front goes on, and that comes together like thus. Now, okay, so there we go, and that's kind of like the body so far. We've then got a spike, and this spike goes in the top here. Like that. Now, I'm going to pop him aside because we then go on to the legs. Now, the legs are obviously going to fit on here in a particular way. I'm not entirely sure how. Like that, I think. But you start off with a foot. Now, one of these feet has a hex in it, and that is because that foot will locate onto the base. There's a little hex shape on the base, and that is where you locate the foot. So that in there, and then that in there, and these actually locate really well, really nicely. And then his shin armour goes on there. Now, there's not a lot of armour on Vashtorr. He's got a bit on his front, a bit on just behind his neck. He's got some shin guards and stuff. If this was a Jill Bear Up video, I'm sure she would just call it Just Stab Me Now. But then we're going to do the other one. And the legs are probably some of the simplest parts that we put together. And then again we have some shin armour. Now these armour plates are actually, they've got dimples on the inside, and there's little studs on the leg where these go into place, and thankfully they have done it so that one of the leg pieces has 2 studs and the other one has 1, so you can't get them wrong. Let's go on to his weapon arm. So the hammer, his war hammer, or whatever it is he calls it, goes onto his fist like so, and then we have a grill that goes on each side. Now the trailing tentacle goes to the back of the hammer. Okay, so again, you can't really get this wrong. Come on, get on there. That's it. So the hammer builds up, and there's like a crown at the top, and then you have the front of the hammer going on, and this is keyed, so again you can't get it round the wrong way in theory, like so. So that's his weapon, that's his hammer arm. And then a slightly more complicated build, we're coming to his claw weapon. Now, I mean, just going back to his stat line, it said his Vashtorr's Claw, but that's only the shooting attack. There was no melee for the actual claws themselves, which I found really odd. Because quite often, you know, I mean, for example, you take a dreadnought with a power fist, you know, it will have a storm bolter or a flamer attached to the underside of the power fist, you know, and it gives the stat line for the power fist and the attached weapon. And this is, I just find it odd. So unless they have specifically decided to not print the details for this weapon to begin with, right then, so looking at this, this is all right, there we go. That's how it goes. Okay, so just that will slot onto a piston that's in the back of the arm, and then just a bit of glue to that down. Now we have this side of the claw, which goes on there. So, come on. Okay, that's it. Just be aware that there are little dimples that these cables will slot into. And then the final claw which is that bit, goes on this side. And there's a dimple there that the cable will go into. So Vashtorr's claw looks like that, and that's it. So there you go. So we've got his two legs, his two arms. The only thing we're missing from this is, and I'm going to do that now, is his van brace, which, let's have a look. goes on. Okay, and it will locate. There is a place for it to locate. Like so. It may be easier to actually locate the cable into its little dimple before just dropping on the glue to do that. Right, and I didn't take it off the sprue because it was so small, but we then have, so you've got a 5-fingered hand here, 5-clawed hand, a tiny little claw there. And this, there's a place for it just there, so you can there's a little bit of movement in this thumb, as it were, as to how you want to position it. Like so. There you go. Now we have another little sub-assembly, which is this front armour piece here, and is kind of like loincloth, and there's a V on the underside of the armour which fits there like so. And then his head, you have 2 pieces that need to be pushed together. And then that goes into the front of his skull there, like so. And there's a little hole there. I'm going to cut off in a sec so that we can come back, because I just need, there's a few tiny little pieces that I didn't want to take off the sprue. So I will, in fact, what we'll do is just join the tail together. Another little sub-assembly is the tail. So this is just in 2 pieces, goes together like that. So I do recommend building all the sub-assemblies and then gluing everything together, because it will give the sub-assemblies time to dry, so that when you come to put them in, you're not worrying about slightly damp glue and like maybe things moving because the glue hasn't set. Okay, so I've done one side of this. So building this up, we need to put one of these halves of the exhaust stack on. I've already done one side because at the end of the day, you know, it's just exactly the same process. And then we've got a cap which is keyed, so it should only go on one way. And then we have this little 3 smokestack that goes in there, like so. Now we have a very tiny piece, probably the smallest piece, and what this does is it goes in just here, and that goes in like so. Now, we just need to do something for our bits and pieces. Now, when these come off, these actual like flesh muscle bits, they're labelled B, A and B. So A goes on the side that I've done, which would be the left hand side of the miniature, and then B goes on the right hand side, and these go on in a way that they are kind of part of the pulley and piston system for the these wraith-like wings, and they do have dimples which will locate into the centre. Let me just see if I'm getting this round the right way. Right, no, I've done it round the wrong way. That will locate into the centre of this joint here. So the dimple goes in, and then this side goes on like so. And what I'm going to do is just pop in a little bit of extra glue into these areas so that it sticks better. So that's that. Now this locates into a position here, and these muscular parts actually help guide it into position. They form the shape necessary to guide it into position like so. Okay, so there you go, there's the torso. Now you have a crest piece here which goes over the top and locates just there like so. So the easiest, I think the easiest way to do this is put your glue in position on here, and then marry it up like so. Okay, so there's that, and then we have the loincloth part, and this is locating do you know what, I might locate this after I've put the legs on, because this seems a little awkward. I'm not getting a firm, yep, it's seated vibe. So let's have a look and let's put the legs on. And so we're going to go this side first. Right, so that comes in like so. So that sits in there. Like thus. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop in a little bit of glue on those pistons. And then this one goes in on the same way. Like so. So there's the legs. Now let's have a look and see. Okay, that's better. That's better. It goes actually goes up quite high on the chest. So not the abdomen, but on the chest. So there you go, that's how that goes. Now at this point I'm going to stick Vashtorr to the base, and like I said, it's this hollow hoof that's going to stick him to the base. So I'm going to stick in there, and I'm going to put some glue just around that one so that both his feet have contact. Now, we've done his head, and his head will locate in here. Now he's got a hole at the back which is going to help guide it into position, because that cable from that tiny little piece we put in, that's where it's going to sit. And so if you marry up that cable in the back of his skull, that will go into position nice and easily. We then have his tail. So I'm going to stick that in, and that goes up here, so it originates quite high up on the spine. Like so. So this is how he's looking, and then finally his arms. Now okay, so these are keyed, so they will only go on one way. This tiny little triangle just here, which is acting as his shoulder joint. So there's one, and then on the other side it's just there. And so there's number two. And that's Vashtorr in all his archyphaneness glory. And there you go. That's a really nice model. Really is a nice model. But there you go. Let me know what you think about Vashtorr in the comments below. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Alright, take care. Bye bye.